Hello, my name is Regina Keels, and I am presenting my paper titled Reopening Croix Libraries, the User History and Technology. My paper is based on our local libraries. We have three public libraries. The Library for the Blind is open, the Florence William Public Library, and the Adelaide McFarland Peterson Libraries. These are currently closed, and you can see the public is quite concerned about reopening our libraries. And of course, going into this profession, I am too. So the problem arises, they're shuttered because in 2017, the libraries were damaged because of hurricanes Irma and Maria, two hurricanes that basically came within a week of each other. And since then, the libraries have been closed. Prior to the storms, the libraries were shuttered on and off for different reasons, environmental and structural. And so my question is, in a context such as this, how will librarians build and maintain usership when libraries reopen? So some of the challenges that I see that go far beyond just saying, okay, construction is done, let's open the doors, is number one, Google was used as a reference librarian for over 5 years. So it's common to hear someone say, I got it from Google, Google it real quick, it was on the internet. But as we know from our research, the reference librarian is still very much, in fact, important because reference librarians can provide information that Google just can't. And reference librarians know where to go. So another issue is that users have not experienced a fully functional library. We do have some public school libraries that are open and working and fully functional, and we have others that are not for much the same reasons. And so you can find young people who don't have much experience with fully functional libraries, and some of them never had experience with a fully functional public library. So that's an issue. Um, it's basically a problem that they don't know about. We also have users with a historical ambivalence to knowledge spaces. They care very much about knowledge. They care very much about education. But when we look at some of the issues with racism in the way libraries are put together, in cataloging, in presentation, and the way Indigenous and African people were looked at, we know that we have some people in our community who would see it open and simply say, what's in the library for me? So for this context, the research says on a national level where libraries are going is that you have to begin with the user in mind. You're working with the concept that libraries are for everyone. So we have to open that up on what that means for everyone. We know that libraries change over time. So as our libraries are opening, we're kind of in the middle of that change as well. So it's a good place to be. Librarians should reflect the people that they serve. So if it's culturally competent organization, there's going to be access and success, a positive climate regardless of your identity group, and a fusion of diverse perspectives, which means we're looking at the traditional person who would go to the library anyway. We're looking to bring them in, but we're also looking for other people who normally wouldn't use the library. So some of the approaches that I found in the literature is, number one, reference librarians are now going to the user, and they're doing a lot more of community outreach. And so the study by Sure analyzed basic changes in reference duties and found that the second most common one that librarians mentioned was outreach, going to where the user is. One way to do that is voice over chat. And so another research report mentioned the idea that talking to people and interfacing with people is a lot more effective than putting things in a chat. This goes along with our context because we know that we still have a population that's very much into oral stories. We like to interact with one another. We want that face to face. And so chat reference probably wouldn't be as effective for us opening as voice interface and interactions. All right. The reality is also that we are on Facebook. We're on also other social networks. So if our librarians are going to pull people in, we have to work from there. This one library system in South Africa realized the same thing, and they noted that public librarians find social media an important tool for marketing their libraries. It helped to improve their library's image, which is what we want to do. And so that's where our library is, just kind of like recreating the image for people who've never been in libraries and bringing them in. And then we also want to reconceptualize knowledge information. What does that look like? In Ghana, they're using a traditional storyteller as the librarian. So you can go to that person and you can get the information we need or that the user needs. All right. So I also found that funding was tied to usership. And so we understand if we are going to get money coming in to help our libraries come up, we also have to realize that the money should be spent on those spaces where it's most effective. And that's where advocacy is. Thank you for listening.